We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.
Welcome to the John and Rick Show. We are thrilled to have you guys joining us. We've got a big show ahead. We have USEA President Molly Pellegrini and big news out of Maryland. Let's take a break and we will be right back.
Want to advertise on the John and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622.
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Does your horse struggle with stress, tight muscles, or fatigue? NupaFeed USA delivers advanced supplements trusted by riders nationwide. Our magnesium supplement with unique MAH helps reduce anxiety and support muscle relaxation. And for lasting stamina, our L-carnitine builds energy and strength without making horses fizzy. Easy to feed, proven to perform. Support your horse's health and performance today with NupaFeed.
Welcome to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. John, I almost didn't spit that out right. And Horse Trailer Pros is the best place to go to get your trailer fixed.
Well done. Good save.
Also, on top of that, NupaFeed is our new segment sponsor. This is their second show. I can't tell you enough good things about NupaFeed. Thanks, Scott Adcock. I use it for all my horses. It's a great magnesium paste. It helps with your horse's calming effects. What do you use, John?
Well, we use this has been really good for me to start learning more about all of NupaFeed stuff, because I've always used the NupaFeed magnesium syringes to, like the Calmer is what I always call it. I'm a big believer in it. It works great. And I'm thrilled to have NupaFeed here on the John and Rick Show, because like all of you guys, I'm learning about, they got so much stuff. Like it's all.
They have a lot of stuff. Go to NupaFeedUSA.com, find out what they've got. Also, we do the daily squirt supplement of NupaFeed.
Yeah, I may have to try that. So,
hey, what a day. I just heard from you. So this is, it's like really sad news, but breaking news.
Yeah. So the news out today, as we're recording this, is that the Maryland 5-star is canceled. That means that the 3-star is canceled as well.
And the young horse.
Everything. The event's off. So the Maryland Stadium Authority, which is the licensee, has canceled the event due to financial concerns. And honestly, I'm sad, and I'm also kind of angry, to be totally honest. I think this was a calamity of errors from the very beginning. I think we had, in my opinion, one of the best 4-stars in the world, probably, at the old Fair Hill venue. We had a really good thing going. And because of a lot of different factors, people decided we'd go for the 5-star. And I think, some of it's probably, and this is just my opinion, and then I'll let you go on with yours, but some of it's probably just where the sport sort of was heading at the top level as this was happening. But I think also some of it was completely unrealistic expectations of how many horses they would have at a 5-star in the autumn in North America. I don't think there was ever a scenario where an autumn 5-star in North America was going to have 50, 60 horses in it. There just aren't that many horses here. And I think if they went into it initially expecting to get that, then they were given unrealistic expectations. And that was not something that was ever going to happen. And I don't think that means that it wasn't a successful event or a good idea to have it. But I think if you're going into an event expecting, and I'm speculating here, maybe they weren't, but I believe with some of the information I had at the time and that I know now that they were expecting it to be a much better attended 5 star. And I think um, having the very best 20 horses in the country at a 5 star is okay. I think if anything, um, you can make it a really focused event. I thought they did a great job having the 3 star there. I thought the young event horse and thing was really cool, and I thought they had a really good festival of eventing. But obviously, they didn't have the infrastructure and the business behind it, or the vision, or something behind it to be able to keep that rolling. And I wonder if that wasn't a part of it, is that they just thought they were going to have a lot more 5 star entries, and I never thought they would. I think Kentucky in the spring is just an event that's been around for so long that, but even there, they've had to add the 4 short to make a whole day out of the thing. So
And a
what's wrong
five
with
star
that?
and a 5 star show jump. I think we're going to do 5 star this coming year.
Yeah, so they
Um,
have at Kentucky, which has been there since 78, is that right?
yep.
Um, they have the 5 long, they have the 4 star short, they have show jumping going on, they have demos from Elisa Wallace, they have all kinds of stuff happening, and they make a huge festival out of it. And
Yeah. And we got to also remember they have an infrastructure. So, I agree with you on Maryland. I think they had a great opening with Maryland, but I was always, when I've been to Maryland every year except for last year. Um, and I was pleasantly shocked at how they could build temporary stuff that they built there, right? They
yeah,
built a temporary, all the venues were all temporary on that steeplechase course. I can only imagine the price for setup, tear down, all the stuff that goes into that, right? But I agree with you. I think the 3 long national championship was something good that they had there. Elisa won it in 2022. I think it drew a lot of horses in, but they were banking on a 5 long super group. And it's very hard because we have rotations of Olympics and world championships. We have, Burley happening, so many things happening. I think you're right on the 20 horses that are the best probably in the world that are coming in there, at least striking that number.
yeah, at least the best in North America anyway,
Yeah,
which what's the shame in that? You go to a Grand Prix on a Saturday night, you might have a class like that, and it's fun to watch.
yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I think the young horse thing they were trying to build as well, but I think a lot of things got in their way, and it's too bad.
It
I
just
hope they,
it just makes me mad because
yeah,
we had such a great 4 star. And look, there was a lot of things not to like about Fair Hill. The
no,
stabling
I
was
mean,
terrible. It flooded every year. It was dreadful.
but it
The
was Fair
tunnel,
Hill.
yeah, the tunnel you had to walk through to get over the
Yes, it
dressage was
was Fair
terrible.
Hill.
The footing in the dressage ring was from
Oh,
1932. It was
yes, it was
gross.
Fair Hill.
But the cross country
Yeah.
was amazing. And no disrespect to Morven because I love Morven Park, but it's not the old Fair Hill. And
No, I agree with you. I mean, I've
it's
been going to Fair Hill since I ran my first 4 long there, which was a 3 long. However, the number was back then. Gosh, back when I was riding with Jimmy, and it hadn't changed, but it was great not changing, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, and then here we are. I think it's a prime opportunity, and I've got asked this. It really cool because my mother has moved into Ocala Palms, where Karen O'Connor's mother lives, Joanne, and then
yeah.
Ann Hardaway, Ann Taylor, or Hardaway Taylor. And we went to dinner last night, and it's so Joanne, who's 94 years old, I see where Karen O'Connor gets her spiciness. Because let me tell you, 94-year-old Joanne is sharp as a tack and talks about WEC. And she looked at me and she says, "When is WEC going to do, eventing at the jockey club?" And she goes, "I don't think they're going to do it because they didn't get permitted for the hotel." It was
Right.
this is a good segue. I was like, "Well, Joanne, I think they will, but hey, Shelly, everybody out there at WEC, with this happening, there's a prime spot for them to move into. What a great way to maybe segue into having something built there. Not They could just go, the tracks are all there, John. All the galloping
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah. I
They just
mean,
need to put the
They should.
temporaries up, get the dates, and go. So I think it's a
Yeah.
prime opportunity.
So here's my last conspiracy theory on
Okay.
Maryland.
Let's go.
When I went to the new Maryland venue,
Yep.
the first thing I went searching out was crab bisque.
Oh,
I was
what
told
there?
they didn't have crab bisque anymore at the
No,
new venue.
bad.
And I think that is why the event fell apart, because they didn't offer crab bisque. And then they were like, oh, no, you can get crab bisque. You have to go to the back side of the cross country course, knock on the oak tree 3 times, do 3 circles to the right, 2 circles to the left, 5 steps back, 3 steps forward. And then a magic crab bisque fairy is going to come out and give it to you. And I was like, that is a lot of effort for crab bisque. And now we have no Maryland. So I'm just saying, if you want to bring it back, you got to bring back the crab bisque.
I agree with you. I don't know. It's a whole now, right? I guess you said the USEF is working, or the FEI is working on the 3-star long national championship.
Yeah, so USEF is working right now to try to get somebody to take on the 3 long. I would assume they're going to have to put it out to bid quickly. I don't think they can just give it to anybody.
Did that new FEI go? Isn't our calendar where we don't have to bid for the? I guess the FEI you got to bid no matter what. So you got to bid.
I'm almost positive, but that said, it's going to have to go to an existing venue. Nobody's going to be able to whip it up in time for this autumn.
Sure.
So,
well, where would you think it should go?
Well, so what are our autumn 3-star longs? We have
Not many.
Haggard. Do they have a 3-star?
No, I don't think so.
Terra Nova has a 3-star.
They don't have. They have a 3 long in the fall.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I ran it last year.
That's right. 3 long in the fall, Terra Nova. Okay.
Let me just pull it up so I don't want to miss anybody here.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's a problem. There's not that many, right?
Yeah, I'll pull it up here quickly. Just
does Morven have a 3 long? They had already the national championship for the 4-star long, right?
Yep.
Tryon doesn't
all
have
divisions. We're going to go to 3 long. Oh, that was 3 short. Sorry, one sec. 3 long.
Yeah, get it. You can do it. By the way, everybody, I got beautiful teeth.
Oh yeah, you got new teeth
from Ocala Dental Implants of Ocala.
All right, good job. Yeah, so the options are in the autumn, November 11th, we have Terra Nova.
Yep.
October 28th, we have Galway Downs.
Okay, well.
October 14th is gone. And July 15th would be the one before that, which would be Rebecca. So it's going to have to go to Rebecca, Galway, or Terra Nova, unless somebody else magically steps up that wants to do it. And I suppose they could add it to maybe Morven would want to take it on, and that would be great. I think we need to double down on Morven Park. If it wants to stay on the East Coast, I think they need to double down on Morven Park, in my opinion, and say this is where we're going to be. Morven Park is a beautiful cross country. It is great. They could probably pull it off, and honestly would probably help that event.
What is Terra Nova? Is that what
Terra Nova? And Terra Nova, yeah, and I love Terra Nova, but I think they've got a good thing going down there. I'm not sure if they want to have that, and it's pretty late in the year to have the championship as well, I would think.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, and then we have the young horse thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a mess. I'm glad I'm not the chairman of the eventing sport committee anymore. Because now I just make wild statements on the podcast, and I don't have to worry. I can just say anything I want.
Oh, by the way, I know we have a great guest coming on, and it was inspired by Meg Pellegrini.
Yeah, we got her mom.
We got her mom, the USEA president.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got something interesting we talked about, and I'm not going to mention names, but just the FEI issuing a warning card for what you're posting on social media. Hey, I get it. We need to be respectful and do things, but we do, I know, have some things that we go out there and just say, hey, it's a little unfair of this and a little unfair of that. But I don't think you should get a warning for that with the FEI, do you?
I don't know. So I think we can talk about the specifics. Somebody was upset with a test changing last minute. There was confusion between the FEI schedule and the omnibus at a competition. somebody got upset about it, made a comment on social media about it, and then they were told they needed to take it down. They took it down, and then they got a warning card for it. I mean, they could have certainly given a yellow card, so they probably were nice giving a warning card.
So I guess I need to better understand the parameters because I know, is that something new? Because
No, it's been around for a while. They just don't enforce it. I got in trouble for it once.
okay, because there has been a lot of FEI complaints on social media. I
Yeah.
don't agree with it. I I don't
Well,
agree with it. But I I was a little bit shocked because I think I never saw the post. You said you did. Was it
no, I didn't see it. I just talked to the
Rick
person.
saw it? He goes, it was very innocuous.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing calling out anybody. It was just the thought that it was unfair that a test was changed.
Yeah, no, I think it was a mistake. Like the thing is they have to go with the FEI schedule. I know that. And they had it different in the omnibus, and when it was brought to their attention, then they had to go by rule back to the FEI schedule. And
Well,
is
hopefully
it,
we won't get in trouble.
well, if we do, we do. And I think that's the one thing I said to you is like I think it is something I almost got in trouble for it years ago for complaining about something
Yeah, but
online that I shouldn't have.
yours wasn't, yours was bad.
No, I was complaining about footing and the fact that they wouldn't have addressed footing at a particular event, and that I took offense that they asked my opinion and then didn't listen. And the official came up to me and said, "You need to
I
take
love
that
you.
down." And I was
Yeah,
annoyed, and I did take it down, and they didn't give me a yellow card. And the last thing I would just say about it is like
yeah.
you learn from that stuff, and you learn maybe to bite your tongue and that you shouldn't say things. But also, I think, like I said to you this morning about this, I think there comes a time, and it's like what's your battle to die, or your last stand to have for
Yeah.
something to decide if it's worth it. And sometimes, I mean, I've had conversations with officials where I've been probably too upset, and in the moment that I'm going to get a yellow card for this, but I feel like it's worth it. And
Yeah.
um,
I mean, we've been in that position, John. I mean, we all have. I get it. I understand. And I have always professed over the last year, because I used to be a little guilty of the complaining on social media. It's not a place
yeah,
to complain. It's a place to promote and encourage, sportsmanship and have things.
totally.
I was just a little bit shocked. But
Yeah.
I guess it's going to help curtail that happening then, right?
Yeah, well, and I think, what, here's the thing. The answer
Yeah.
is one, now everybody's aware that you can't just go on social media and do that without a consequence of some sort
Consequences.
being a possibility. And, like it or not, that's the reality. So then you have to, and this is where I need to be better, be able to go up to the officials and have a reasonable conversation about why you're disappointed in something, and then be okay with the fact that you may not get the answer you want, and that's okay too, but at least you were heard.
Hey, and then I just thought about this. So it was during an active FEI USEF event in which the posting was done, and
Yeah.
that thus there was recall for them to step in and do something. On the other hand, if you're not anything at an event or a show or anything like that, I don't think there's a recourse for the FEI or the USEF in your postings. But I do think everybody out there needs to be careful about what we're saying. And to your point, John, be respectful, have conversations. Look, Briggs and I have had many, sitting down with the ground jury on a bit usage, right? Or, what that entails. So I think we need to build that relationship and work on it. So that's what I'm going to say.
Yep, I think you're right. Last thing we need to do here, Rick, we got to give out our $25 gift card for the last contest, which was, I believe, wasn't it Meg's ponies' names?
Yep.
Her first three horses.
Correct.
So I have the winner if you're ready for
Okay.
it.
Let me write it down because I'm responsible for that.
So the winner is Catherine LaRose. And the answer was Rosie Luna Snarky.
Look at that.
So congratulations, Catherine. You
Catherine,
win.
I need her address. So
Yeah. So Catherine, shoot Rick a text. You're going to hear his number right now because we're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with USEA President Molly Pellegrini. And we're going to
come
talk.
on, Molly. And then
We're
we're going to
talking about
mention, but before we sign off, we're going to mention about your great weekend at Blue Cart later, but we're going to talk about it.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So let's take a break. Thank you, NupaFeed, Like I
Yeah.
was saying at the beginning, guys, they have so many great products. I use the Commerce, helps keep my horses focused. Like I just call it NupaFeed, and it is great. And Rick, what's the website they go to?
NupaFeedUSA.com. And let me tell you guys, I panic when we don't have it. So there you go.
Yeah, for your horses. All right, let's take
Here
a
we go.
break.
Does your horse struggle with stress, tight muscles, or fatigue? NupaFeed USA delivers advanced supplements trusted by riders nationwide. Our magnesium supplement with unique MAH helps reduce anxiety and support muscle relaxation. And for lasting stamina, our L-carnitine builds energy and strength without making horses fizzy. Easy to feed, proven to perform. Support your horse's health and performance today with NupaFeed.
I just got back from Magnolia Sands schooling the horses cross country. It is such a useful place to go. If you are here for the winter season and you want to go cross country schooling, Magnolia Sands needs to be on your list. It is awesome, great jumps. You do have to make reservations, so you're going to text 615-414-0781 or send them an email at magnoliasandsfarm@gmail.com. You're going to have a great time.
EquiBrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
EquiBrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order EquiBrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649.
Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are in the EquiBrew segment. EquiBrew is a great live probiotic. Rick has the bottle right there. It appears to be slightly crushed, that bottle, Rick.
That's because Briggs takes it and I take it at home.
Oh, okay. So this is our home bottle. There we go.
Got it.
EquiBrew is great. You go to brickfieldnutrition.com. That will take you to Shopify where you can buy it, and then Rick and Briggs and the elves will package it up and ship it off. So go to EquiBrew, brickfieldnutrition.com.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank
You're
you.
like a
Thank you.
Shopify man now.
Yeah, I know. I
Hey,
got it.
Paul.
It's been like 6 months.
Great job.
Hey, Molly
Hi.
Pellegrini's with us, our new USEA president, and just scooping up the stuff and putting it down, aren't you?
Well, trying to one chunk at a time, right?
There you go. Well, it's welcome to the show, and let me tell you, I told John that we wanted to have Meg on, and I was at Three Lakes, and I saw her, and I was like, I've never really gotten to know Meg before, so I ran out there. John was in England somewhere doing the thing that he does over there, and he gave me the okay to get Meg. And so I ran, and she was coming out of the ring, and I said, Meg, and we want you on the show. She goes, yeah. She is adorable.
Oh, thank you.
I was blown away by just her life story and how she says she's like you, got what she wanted.
Yeah, well, she works hard, that's for sure, right?
Yes,
So,
in a working hard kind of way. So I'm very
Yes.
impressed with her. You did a great job. So I'm only
Thank you.
expecting the best for the USEA now.
Thank you. There's a lot of work to be done, for sure.
Well, tell us about it. What kind of work do you need to do? What do you want to ask her, John? Do you want to do with the hot topic?
Yeah, let's just get to it. We want to get into all the USEA stuff, but the hot news this week, Molly, is obviously the Maryland 5-star, and with that, they lose the 3-star, they lose the young event horse thing. It is a huge hole in the calendar, and we just talked about it in the opening segment, which you weren't privy to, but like everybody in the eventing world, we're incredibly disappointed and moderately angry about the whole thing. So I'm just sort of curious your initial thoughts when I'm sure you had this news well before everybody else because of your position, but what are you thinking right now?
Well, I think we've known for a little while that the main difficulties were the finances, right? And people didn't get paid and people weren't invoiced. And I mean, that's just a glaring deficit. But, for our sport, it's like you said, it's a huge hole in the October calendar. People already have their plans set for their lead up events for those types of things. And so I think it's really sad. And I think that, I think the Federation worked really hard to try and set some targeted deadlines for the Maryland Sports Authority to meet, to be able to, hold the event. And I just think the confidence isn't there that they can get the previous debts paid off in time to be able to run a new event. And it's a massive undertaking, and you really have to have people who understand it. And want to put it on as well as it's been put on. So it's really unfortunate, especially, not the, 25 to 35-star horses, but really the 3-star and the young event horse championships, which have been really the showcase of that event. Now, do I 100% think that we'll be able to replace those two items? 100, yes. I think that there's other venues that we can take those. And I also think that, there's still a chance that they could run the 3 long and the YEH there under, Fair Hill management. So we're all working towards that goal.
So I guess my initial question, which you may not have the answer to, is does this mean it's done forever, or could this just be they have to miss a year and then they could get it
And
back?
miss a year and then they could reapply again. Yes, that's correct.
And have you heard any words from them? Like, is that something they would consider, or do we not know?
I mean, I think the Federation would like for that to happen. I think we've just got to get the management team in place. That's the biggest problem. I mean, I think there were all kinds of people within our sport, organizers and officials, who said they would step up to allow it to run this year, to make it run this year. Were the conditions, met of fixing the finances. And I just don't think they have enough time to get it done this year.
Right. Yeah,
And they don't want to put on event. I mean, we have to put it on in the best light. We can't have it scrutinized and, but like I just said to you guys, of course I try not to, but I go down the rabbit hole of reading the comments, and it's a really complicated process, and it's a huge animal. And so people can't just chalk it up to being like USEA screwed up or USEF screwed up. That's not what happened.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't a federation or an association problem at all.
I think the complication, if I understand it from the outside, is there's just like the authority that's involved, and then there's just so many parties that come into play, and that those modular areas weren't connecting or communicating, and it just fell apart.
Correct. Absolutely.
I know Mary Cauldron is up there in Fair Hill. She's amazing and she's incredible. And I know that poor Mary was running around with her hair on fire.
Absolutely.
And we were saying, John and I were saying, Fair Hill was such a staple for the 4 long championships. And, while there was things about it, was so heartwarming to go to Fair Hill and have the tunnel, as John was saying, or, you had the rain, or you had not miss mostly the crab bisque. So
I did.
It's just sad. It's a sad time right now.
And I think we, in a best case scenario, we can take it back to that situation of having, Fair Hill and Mary Cauldron involved. And I think those people still have the right vision and purpose for that week on the calendar. And for that, I mean, the facility is just what they've done, what the 5-star allowed them to do to that facility is phenomenal. And so it would be a travesty for it to not be used.
Yeah, it just seems to me like they were like, I remember when this was all getting discussed, and they were talking about moving the course over to the new side. And I sort of chuckled. I said, well, we're taking the one good thing about the old Fairhill, which was the cross country, and we're getting rid of that and moving it to this new side. And to be fair, it was a beautiful track, but if I'm being critical, probably too hilly, too treacherous.
Right.
So we took the one great thing about the old Fairhill and moved it. And then I never really understood that. And then we have that beautiful ring in the infield, but you can't really get to it because you can't go across the racetrack.
I know.
And you do
Yeah.
when you're there, even as a spectator, just always feel like it was just a little inconvenient, everything about it.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's a massive piece of property, right? And so to
yeah.
try and, be able to get even from, the cross country back to the starting line. And I mean, we all know, and we've all made that hike and that trek. And yeah, logistically, it was a lot to manage. Huge piece of property. But
I got lost like 5 times.
oh, I mean, I would have to Google map it to be like, where am I on the course right
Yeah.
here? Like,
Trying to get out that crab water was always a challenge.
Absolutely. I know.
So my last question on this, because I had mentioned it in the first segment, and I want to make sure that I'm not wrong on this or that, making a false statement, but it felt to me like from the very beginning, the vision for this 5-star was that it would immediately, and I say immediate, within the first sort of 3 years, grow to be as big as Kentucky as far as numbers of entries, if not more. And I always felt like that was pretty unrealistic given the autumn calendar and team competitions, and you lose horses here and there. And I wonder if that wasn't part of the problem, is they thought that they were just going to get 50, 60 horses entering the 5-star. And I don't think that was ever real.
No, I don't think it's real. I don't think we have, I mean, I don't care where it is on the calendar. I think 50, 65-star horses is a hard number to get to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And even, I mean, Europeans don't really have the need to travel over for it. So I think I think you start an event with a dream, right? And I think that's what they thought, but you just can't come up with that quality of horse just because you want to. That's the problem, right?
Right. Well, it's like any business, I think, and you're a businesswoman, I know that. Like, you have to start with a business model that makes sense.
Yeah.
That is going to be profitable from the beginning. I remember my father-in-law, he sold nuts and bolts. And he always told a story of like, I don't understand horse people because they come in and they'll say for 10 years, oh, well, I just have to do this or do that, and then I'm going to start making money. And he said, his story was, he said, when he was getting into the nut and bolt business, he had to make money from day one. Otherwise, he wasn't.
Right.
Right. And it seemed to me like Maryland came in with this long-term vision, but they never worried about having to make money from day one. And then it kind of seems like it fell apart.
Yeah. And I think the surprise really for them was the success of the 3-star and the YEH. I mean, those were the ones that were paying the bills, right?
Sure.
Not the 5-star. And so, which, in effect is the same thing that's pretty much happened with Kentucky. The 4 short, probably pays the bills of the 5-star there too. So, but I mean, it's ironic that you say that about your father-in-law, because that's really not to just switch over, but that's, really kind of what I've been preaching to the USEA about our financial model, is that, everyone talks about the sport is getting so expensive and, everything costs more. But I mean, my motto, and I learned this from my dad, is like, you can't cut your way to profitability, right? So we have to be working hard to drive revenues for the association, because it's the same thing. You can't just expect for things to get cheaper if you're not driving revenue somewhere else. So I think it translates across the board.
That is I love that saying. It needs to be a t-shirt, Molly.
Yeah.
So, I had the privilege of being on the nomination committee for the USEA, and your name came up, and it did some research. So I was like, wow, that is what we really need for the USEA. And, John and I both have been board members. We've done our time. I was actually on the finance committee. I worked with Mike Winter, who is amazing.
Sure. Yep.
And bless him, and hands to him in heaven. But we even saw back there when we had Joanne Whitehead with us.
White House, Joe
White
White
House.
House,
Yeah,
sorry.
Joe.
I
Yeah.
don't know where I came up with Whitehead, and that's bad. Sorry,
It's all right.
Joe. We started seeing some decline, right?
Mhm.
I think as we did the transition, and I think you're right. Cut just doesn't make the revenues go higher. It just makes the revenue you have be a little bit more sufficient.
Right.
My question, I'm leading into a question, and
Sure.
I don't think a lot of people are talking about the white elephant in the room. I have no clue why they went and did that Horse Connect, and maybe give us some insight. And I'm sorry, it's a white elephant. It's a white elephant. I looked at the numbers. I started looking at it and looking it up. I was like, what possessed us to change what was functioning? We're not an entry connect
No,
association. So
I know.
tell me, I'm hopeful that you're the one that said reconnect us to the other thing and get rid of that. But what happened?
Well, I mean, we were forced to because they basically the company that we originally contracted with got sold or acquired, and then they just weren't delivering the product that they promised us. And we're going back with recourse, trying to figure out what we can recoup and all of that kind of stuff. But I mean, and our IT department is great at the association. And quite frankly, what we've realized now is, we made this investment into Horse Connect 2 years ago, or maybe even more, 30 months ago. And even if we had been able to wait, like the things that AI can do now, I mean, they're recreating the system now using AI. It'll take them 4 months to do what we just spent 24 months doing, right? But we didn't have that information back then. And the database system was so old and so antiquated, and it was stressing out the staff to the point of, anytime we wanted to report on anything, they were having to rewrite code to create these reports. And so something needed to be done. But I mean, Rob might kill me for saying this, but he knows my feelings on it was that, we should be in the businesses that we can support. And I don't know that we need, an entry revenue or a competition, scoring platform at the USEA. There's other people that are doing it and doing it well. And so we need to really figure out what our business model is. And I think that's serving our membership, and, promoting horsemanship and education. I mean, those are our, pillars in our platforms. And so I think that we probably got in a little over our head in the IT situation, and we're remedying it, but to what cost? How many times do we have to learn these lessons, right?
Yep. Mission statement. I think you just said it. So
exactly. Yes.
So we talked about the problems.
Yeah.
But what is Molly Pellegrini's plan to get you, because it is a big issue. It's an issue, I think, worldwide in eventing right now. Membership is down, revenue is down, and I don't know what the answer is, because I think what we have as a sport is really special. It demands a dedication that, and no disrespect to the other disciplines, but it demands a dedication that the other disciplines can't even come close to duplicating. And because of that, I see at all levels of our sport people leaving for what is honestly a little bit easier, cushier life in the other sports or the other horse sports. I occasionally go over to Hits or WEC and I'm like, man,
I know.
this is nice. I went to WEC this summer and I drove my car over and I watched some rounds while I drank a latte and a breakfast sandwich, and I rode my e-bike to get my horse, and then I jumped my horse and I handed it to my groom and I rode my e-bike back.
Oh my God, John, are you leaving us? Are you going to leave us?
I am not, because I love eventing, but how do we keep the people in and keep them interested so that this sport stays what it is, which is truly special?
I think we got insight from Meg. So Molly, I'm going to ask you. I think you're a big supporter, you tell me if I'm right or wrong, of the combined test. Is that right?
I am.
Do I remember
that? Absolutely. Yes.
And I started thinking about that after Meg said it. And I was like, I really had some really nice horses that are now equitation horses or hunters or something that would love doing the combined test. Whether it's your idea for that? Because I think it's a great one.
Well, I mean, it came from people approaching me, like this was 2 years ago at Maryland, and it really was driven by adult amateurs who are working full-time jobs who just don't have time to get their horses fit for cross country, right? But they still want to be in the eventing community because, I mean, yes, the other disciplines are great, but I mean, let's face it, if you were going to be a full-time jumper, that is, I mean, it's expensive, right? And, you know, you're not feeding your own horse. You're hiring someone to feed your horse and warm up your horse and tack up your horse and all of that, right? So the combined test, and what they really wanted out of it is, it's just so funny. They wanted a leaderboard, right? They wanted to be able to get points just like everybody else does in eventing, and kind of acknowledge the people that still want to stay a part of this discipline, but be rewarded with a ribbon and a end of the year award if they succeed in it. And you know, for us, I mean, the IT part, once again, was getting the leaderboard done. And well, it's almost done. But you know, it's really, I mean, giving organizers the flexibility to do what fits into their model. I mean, I think that is what I've really learned just in the past, you know, year and a half being shadowing Lou before me and being on my own now, is that we cannot have a one size fits all approach to eventing, and all of our areas are so different. And you know, we talk about it like Robert Kellerhouse runs an August horse trials at Galway Downs in California. I mean, it's 110 degrees in the desert, but he starts the event at 5 o'clock and does, you know, dressage in the evenings. He has like water parks set up during the day, and he did like a $99 entry fee just to get people in there, and it succeeded. And so that's what we have to get organizers to be creative about, and say what works for your area, for your particular show. Like, you know, I am also on the board of Plantation Field, and, you know, our June event has never been well attended. And so do we cancel it? Because there's still 100 horses that want to run it, right? So what can we do to make that show valuable, that helps USEA and helps the organizers? And it's like, okay, let's do a $99 combined test so that people that don't want to run their horse cross country can get in the event for $100. Like, let's try that out and see what works, because at this point we really are just grasping at straws to get starters back in there and get members. I mean, what's amazing is if you look at the number of unrecognized to recognized shows, I mean, the people are still out there, right? They're still doing the shows. It's just they're not doing the recognized, so we don't see it on the association side. We don't see the benefit of it, but people still believe in the sport. So, you know, what do we do? And I do think it's outreach to individual organizers and areas to say, what do you see in your particular area? Because, you know, area 2 and 3, we're okay, right? I mean, but if you look at the starters year over year, we're down, you know, 5 or 10 at each show, and you just can't, I mean, that we can't sustain it that way.
Right. No, it's great. I think I want to keep going on this.
Yeah.
But I think we need to take a quick break, and then I want to come back and hit this because I have a couple questions specifically about this and things that I've seen, and get your thoughts on it. So
perfect.
Thank you to EquiBrew, Rick. It is amazing. Love it. All my horses are on it. Zelda loves it. And it is a great live probiotic. You go to brickfieldnutrition.com. That shoots you to Shopify. You go to Shopify, you buy it, and then Rick and Briggs and their crew, they package it lovingly and send it off to your horses. It's amazing stuff.
My goodness, John, you just sold me on it. I'm going to go order some.
Okay, you should. You should. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
One of my favorite things to do is explore the stores at World Equestrian Center here in Ocala, Florida. When I do, I always make sure to stop in at I Love My Horse Equestrian Boutique. I Love My Horse is a one-stop shop for the latest trends in equine gear, protective equipment, show attire, and casual apparel. They're located in Arena 3 at the World Equestrian Center, right beside the Grand Arena. They've got all kinds of great products in the store. The horse shows are underway at WEC and HITS, and the eventing season is going full throttle. So if you forgot something, or if you just want to pick up something you need to start the season, I Love My Horse is the place to go. Already at the events at Majestic Oaks, Rocking Horse, or Ocala? No problem. I Love My Horse has an awesome mobile tack store just for you eventers. Penny and Terry and their team will take care of all of your equine tack and apparel needs.
The annual I Love My Horse Yellow Ducky sale is coming soon. February 20th and 21st, join us for great sales and refreshments. Choose a yellow duck from the pond to reveal your discount at checkout.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. Thanks, Molly, for joining us in this last segment of our show, and it's such important information that we're going through. Our sport, I think, around the world might be suffering a little bit, and I think we all need to pull our heads together. And what a great person to be steering the wheel right now at the USEA. I think you have such insight because of your daughter and coming up through the ranks and just knowing our sport. And we were talking about, some ideas to keep it going. John, I think you had some questions that you had.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe it's a problem, but I feel like you probably have the answer to it, or at least an idea. So you were talking about schooling shows. And down here, we have these pop schooling shows that run at the Florida Horse Park. And Jen, who is a board member on your board.
Yes, I know.
Because of me.
She loves doing it. She was actually part of getting pop started, and it has become so popular that it is not unusual that the weekend after the recognized event, if they have a pop schooling show, that schooling show will be very similar number of entries, totally different group of people, or more than what the recognized horse show was. And I think that's because there's less rules. People are allowed to have things go wrong and keep going. And so my question is, do you think there's a way to bring those schooling people and maybe schooling competitions under the umbrella of the USEA, and actually not just so that USEA can make the money, but offer them something maybe they don't have so that they want to be a part of USEA?
Leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it is a rules and regulations situation, right? And because of our arrangement with the federation, we're, aligned to some rules. And so I do understand like the coaching allowed, and, you can continue on cross country and things like that. I think what we need to do is figure out, okay, what's the pipeline? Like how do you progress from a schooling show to a recognized? What's the incentive that somebody really wants? Like you said, Rick, a leaderboard, but is that enough? Because I do believe in the value of a schooling show and unrecognized, and people can go out there and feel like they're not spending as much money and the stakes aren't as high, right? But then what's the progression? How do we get them over to recognized? And I think that's our job as an association, is spelling out the value in, having to compete under all of the rules and the requirements, but it's hard because we're not getting there right now.
I agree. And just real quick, I started thinking about it a little bit, John, and maybe you can answer this. I mean, the reason I like unrecognized shows is because there isn't a way of recording exactly what you've been doing. And the reason you might have a green horse that you're starting its career and you go out and you have a couple stops here and there. Well, I never take that horse to a recognized until I know I'm going to have a record that's going to reflect what I want it to reflect. Not that I'm not going to be honest about its unrecognized eventing. So, you got a double-edged sword when you start to do that. What do you think, John?
Well, we should ask Molly. She's the guest. What do you think?
Let's go with Molly. Go with that.
No,
Molly.
I totally agree. Especially if you've gotten a new horse that's I mean, if you've got a 5-year-old that's going beginner novice or novice and you really want to see what they do at an event, I mean, Meg just got a horse a couple of weeks ago and she took it to its recognized event. And she's like, he hadn't seen this world in a year. And she's like, he just was like bright eyed and bushy tailed at everything. And so, yeah, maybe, and she had a 20 out there on cross country because he was just like looking around. So, I mean, I agree with you. And, she's not worried about his record at this point, but I mean, you would be, right? If you're in the business of producing a horse, you would be worried about the record and you want to make sure the horse is comfortable before you put the pressure of a recognized event on them.
So I hear you say we got to figure out that pipeline, what the connect is from John's number of people that goes to Jen and Emily's pop show and who they are and how we transition those that might not be a USEA member or those that are just loving the sport and not doing it. What is the secret sauce that gets them pulled over? And nobody has that answer yet, right? We haven't figured it out. John, do you agree? And Molly can try to answer it.
So my question, actually, Molly, and maybe it's a suggestion, is we here in Florida have the Florida Horse Trials Association, right? It's an unaffiliated schooling show eventing circuit. Has anybody reached out to them and said, what would it take to get you guys to come in?
Yeah, not that I know of, but I'm making a note. So
I mean, they might say nothing. They might say we don't want to, but maybe it would. And so then my other thought is bigger picture. We have a lot of rules, like you said, and I think that is part of the sport, and you have to have rules to have a level playing field and have a sport. But I think some of the rules, and some of them I was involved in, I think as an association, it's very easy to make rules, and it's very difficult. This is in any kind of governance to get rid of things. And the one thing that I personally think we made a mistake, and I take ownership in it because I supported it, is the CR rule. I think we did that with partial information when we were trying really hard to make sure that the sport was staying safe. I'm the national safety officer, so like I have a little bit of a leg to stand on. I have yet to receive any concrete evidence that horses that are CR'd are actually less safe on cross country. I've never seen it. I've been given it anecdotally. I've been given suggestive things. I have asked numerous times, could somebody put together information that actually shows that a horse that is routinely CR'd is less safe cross country? And there's ways to do it, because the answer you get is, well, that's really hard to know because the horse doesn't go cross country. But obviously that horse at some point did go cross country, because there's horses going intermediate and advanced that get CR'd. So you can look at those records and you can see, are those horses bad cross country horses? And I, not saying they're not, because I haven't seen the information, but I actually think that should be pretty alarming to the association and to the federation that we have this rule. And myself, as the former sport committee chairman and the current safety officer, have never seen any information that actually concrete shows to me, yes, there's a correlation.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because, like you said, what I've heard also is the data is hard to get because they don't run cross country. And I also think that once again, adding more rules just adds more complexity. But is it a horse? I mean, have they had 4 CRs across the season, or is it 1 CR? Like, was it one bad day? Or so do we say, is it if you have, if you're CR'd at 3 consecutive events, that's a situation? I mean, it's kind of like the MER, like if you have a certain number of falls, you have to move down a level. Like, do we treat it like that? Or do we truly try to get the data on a CR? And, I was just watching the results at Bucart this weekend because I wasn't there. My husband was there with Meg, and, there was quite a few CRs there, and everyone said it was because of the footing. That's the chatter, right? Because it was
I would
wet.
not disagree with it.
And so
I would disagree. I was there this weekend. The footing was fine in the ring. I watched. Honestly, it was bad riding.
Got it. So that's the subjective part of our sport, right? I mean, everyone's going to say something. So I don't know. I do think it's worth looking at. But if you see a horse repeatedly having a CR and show jumping, I think that's a different issue than somebody who has one a season.
But is it because, again, so there were horses in the 3-star that got CR'd and were not allowed to go cross country. So those horses in a 3-star have to qualify to get there, right? They have to they have to have gone preliminary. I guess that could be technically their first intermediate if it's a short. I think they can do that. But even if they can't, they have a history. They didn't just get to intermediate and that's their first time eventing. They have a history. So I'm telling you, I watched a lot of that show jumping. It's eventers. We're not great at show jumping. What we're good at is cross country. If we were great at show jumping, we'd be on show jumpers, we would show jump. So some of us are not going to be as good at it. I just think we could go and we could pull up just Chattahoochee Hills and look at those horses that were CR'd. Are those bad cross country horses?
Yeah. I mean, it's a fair point. Absolutely. You know?
Well, I agree too, John. I mean, look at Simply Priceless, Johnny. I mean, he became a better show jumper, but he would have rails. We had thoroughbreds that were jumping around incredibly cross country. They were cross country machines, but when it went in show jump ring, they had rails. I think the CR has taken away from our sport. Maybe if we look at it closer, you met Molly, you would see, when did the CR go into place? 2-3 years ago?
It's been there for a while.
But the decline in our membership, I mean, it's training, right? Training level and above for CRs.
I think it's all.
I think it's all levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I bet you we could look at the correlation. If I was somebody going, well, if I have 5 rails, I can't go under cross country.
I know. Well, just as you were saying that, Rick, I was thinking, I mean, that is a complete deterrent to that 12-year-old going novice who's just moved up to novice. And, you know, it took her 2 years to get through beginner novice. And then she has, 5 rails down. And I mean, she's scared to death to come back and do another show. Like, I mean, and I do think, I'm sure I could be argued with here too, but I do think having 5 rails at beginner novice is a different issue than having 5 rails at intermediate, right? So,
I mean, it started at the lower levels for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think it's really worth looking into.
All right. So I got another idea for you. I'm throwing
I love this.
In New Zealand, they are allowed at their national horse trials to bypass a jump on cross country.
I don't like this idea, by the way, Molly.
That's fine. You don't have to like it. I'm telling this is me and Molly. So they are allowed. I'm just going off of stuff that can happen at schooling shows. At schooling shows, you can knock down all the jumps and still go. At schooling shows, you can have problems on cross country and still go. So I'm not saying at the upper levels, but in New Zealand at their horse trials, if they have a horse that they know it's not going to jump this jump or that jump, they can bypass it. Now they get a penalty. They're out of the competition. They can't win, but they can bypass the jump and continue on their round. If they have a stop twice at a ditch and they think, I'm not going to get this done, but I'd really like to get to the water, they can bypass the ditch. They get their stops. They get a penalty for not jumping it, and they can go finish the round. I mean, what do you think of that, Molly?
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting concept. I think I would entertain it more once you again at the lower levels than the upper levels. But I do think, and I do think we've seen it sometimes at the lower levels. I mean, if you've ever fence judged and a kid just doesn't stop because they don't realize they're supposed to, and the jump judge is flagging them to stop, and they just keep going. So and I
not that Molly is suggesting anybody should do that.
No, I'm not at all. But I do think that there's benefit in being able to proceed on course. But I also think if your horse has a particular, if it's got a ditch issue or whatever, I don't think the right thing to do is to be able to bypass it. Now, you're penalized, you're eliminated. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I don't know.
Well, John, look. I mean, if we can't even get past the 5 rail in the show jump and we're now bypassing show cross country jumps, I mean, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to grow our sport, Rick.
Well, get rid of the CR first.
I'm down with that. To be totally clear to everybody who's listening, and especially you, Molly, I actually am not advocating we should get rid of the CR. What I'm advocating for is I would like the data to prove that it's doing what it's supposed to do. And if it's not, then we need to discuss getting rid of it.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think it's, yeah. I mean, I would have to dive in to see where we could get that data, but I agree. It's just looking at the previous performances of that horse that's been CR'd,
I
right?
agree. I agree with you, Molly. And devil's advocate, the why the heck I didn't vote for the CR. You did. And so why without data did you vote for it?
You're asking me because Molly
Yeah,
didn't vote.
Molly didn't vote
Right.
for it. You
Yeah,
did.
no.
I voted for it because we all sat down and we were told by Equa Ratings actually that there was an increased risk of poor performance at 4 rails. And what was interesting in the data initially was they said, but then it's not as bad at 5 rails. And then I thought, well, okay, so then we should, by that, I remember thinking it at the time initially. I'm like, well, then we should eliminate them for 4 rails, but if they have 5, we should let them go again. I mean, it just was, but it was a little bit like the temperature in the sport at the time was we have to find
I
ways to make
know.
it safer to
Right.
keep eventing going. And so we went with it. We made a gut decision. And in my opinion, I think there's a chance we were wrong. And I'm not afraid to say that. Like we do the best we
Well,
can as people and leaders in the sport, and you're doing the best you can with the information you have at the time. But I'm not convinced we were right.
yeah, and I'm not trying to take away from Molly, but I want Molly to understand something that I was an advocate for, which I did not agree with on the CR. Okay. And the CR was put in because show jumps before cross country, right?
Right.
Okay. There is some things like the AECs that run show jump last. It's in the format of national. They at first didn't implement the CR after cross country, but they do now. So the argument was if an event had some in the show jump cross country and some in the show cross country show jump, they had to be fair. I was like, that's in California. They do
Mm-hmm.
that. Typically, it's run the same way at the event. So they're CRing people
Right.
after their cross country
Right.
and their completion. I
Right.
don't agree with that. If anything on the CRs, we could take it away from that method. I think that could be the first step of removal of CRs. It's my opinion.
Yeah. I think that's I think that's interesting as well. And then the other thing, John, you said something that I was going to speak to, but hold on, I've lost it for a second. So hold on.
We do that. Sorry, Molly.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
no, it's okay. But no, I do think back to your point. I mean, and rules are very hard to get rid of once we've established them. And when we make these rules in this silo of kind of panic, we've got to make our sport feel safer, look safer, the optics of safety, which I mean, obviously we all want it to be safer. But if we do it in a time when it's just because it's blowing up that we're not safe, then that's not a fair argument, right? I mean, I think we're doing so many things to make our sport safer, and I think the data is there to prove that. So I think we can't make these, and I'm sure. I mean, we all sat through all of these rules meetings, right? And at some point, you're just kind of like, wait, where did this come from, and why are we talking about this again? And I mean, another example is the whip rule, and nobody even understands the whip rule right now, and it's really hard. So
yeah, and I think we need to be careful about the whip rule because once something's put in place, you don't put it back. And I think it's more. I think we need to not navigate through that pretty well. I will say to John Holling, he's a good friend for many, many years. One of the rules that he did get done, it's called the John Holling rule, is no jackets have to be worn from training level down. There was a misinterpretation of that rule one year and they included prelim. So now it's prelim and down. Thank you, John, for we don't have to wear coats. They're waived if you're prelim and down. Thank you, John.
just in warm weather, you mean?
No, any weather.
No.
Oh,
Any weather.
really? Wow,
No
I didn't
coats
know that.
required, prelim and down.
Okay, I love that. That's good. Yeah.
I didn't
That
know
was-
that. I
that
guess
was John
I
Holling.
forgot that I was a part of that. But the idea was to make it
What?
not just more casual, but to make it so that like if a mom and dad want to try out eventing for their kid, they don't have to go spend those jackets. Even inexpensive jackets
Oh
are
gosh,
$100.
ridiculous.
I think
Yeah.
you did a great job, John. It was a good incentive, and it was that saving money, Molly, right? Saving money so you can go
Yeah.
and compete.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's great. You look at these. I mean, the way Meg got started in Pony Club and all of the stuff that we had to have for Pony Club, I mean, we still have tack trunks full of this stuff that I'm like, are we ever going to use this again? But it's worth it. It's worth it, right? So, but no, I think that's good.
Okay, so on to the serious stuff here now. We've been having fun until now. It's all the softball questions, what we've been asking you. She can't hear you. Is Jen behaving on the board?
Oh, of course. Are you kidding me? Jen's the type of board member we love because she just jumps in. I mean,
No,
feet
that's what
first,
worries me.
No,
That's
no,
what worries
no.
me.
Are you kidding me? I'll take 10 of her. Absolutely.
Hey, actually, I nominated 2 people. The other one was Leslie Grant Law, and they said I can only do one of those at a time. And I was like, okay, I'll wait until next year for the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know. And as you guys know, being so deep into this sport, I mean, we seem to like tap the same buckets of people all the time. And so, but I mean, there's a certain caliber of worker that we need, right? And that's what we got in Jen. It's great.
Well, I'm pretty proud of her for doing it. I like to give her a hard time, but I think you guys are lucky to have my wife. And it seems like the whole
100%.
board, I know you're only going to say nice things here, but it seems like the whole board is a very good board. How are they? You're like, feel like you're getting the work done that you need to get done?
Yeah, I think so. I think, one of the things that I've been kind of preaching about too is the committee structure at the USEA is just massive and can be really hard to wrangle, really. I mean, there's 27 committees, with 7 to 15 people on each committee. And so I think it's one of the things I really want to do is kind of fine tune each of those committees and make sure that everybody feels supported and that ideas are being able to get implemented and that the staff feels supported because there's a lot of work to be done. Really, it really is. But we have an engaged board. We have very engaged committees. Of course, Rob is great. And so, I mean, we're really fortunate in the group of people that we have.
And are you guys okay with the fact that Rob is actually part of the mafia?
The Bills Mafia. Yes,
Bills
we hear about
Mafia.
it all the time. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, just make sure, because you're not
We
a Bills
support.
fan, right?
We
Where are you
support
guys?
us. I'm not. I'm in Philly, so I'm Eagles fan. Which
Oh, man.
I know people hate it, and I didn't grow up here, so I'm just kind of I'm a Phillies fan, so I mean an Eagles fan, so I can survive in Philly, right?
Yeah, you've got to. You cannot cheer for a different team in Philadelphia.
No, right.
Let me try to pull out your husband. Is your husband's name Hank?
It is. Yes.
Farmer
Mhm.
Hank.
Hank. Farmer Hank. That's right. Well, he's from Oklahoma, so
I know,
we sit in.
but that's what Meg says now. Farmer Hank.
Yep.
But
Yep.
actually,
Farmer
Oklahoma.
Hank. He's been doing farm work today, but yeah, so
Awesome.
It's all good. Yeah.
All right, Molly, is there anything else we didn't cover that you want to make sure you get to talk about here? I feel like we kind of with a lot of the big stuff.
John, I know you're asked her a question, but because you said something really great about the Florida Association.
Horse trials.
Georgia has a huge one called the Georgia Dressage Combined Training Association, GDCTA. They are really active and big in Georgia. That's another one to reach out to.
Yeah, that would be great. And we have the Maryland Combined Training Association as well. So, we definitely need to and sometimes it's just asking a question, even when we're sitting in our board meetings, like just throwing these names out there and people go, oh, I know so and so, let me call them and let me, pick their brain. It's really, I mean, we really have got to grow our outreach and figure out a way to get more people on board.
I agree.
Well, I hope you get it done. I am thrilled that you are the president.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it. And remember, Rick put you up to it apparently, so he's the one.
Yeah, exactly.
I voted for her.
Thank you.
We know who nominated her, but I definitely supported it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure you.
It's always I think at the beginning.
I know. I was on a call with David O'Connor, and he was like, "Oh, you're still vertical."
Fair.
I was like, so.
Well, thank you for doing it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
It is an incredibly difficult job, and I know the pay is just exceptional. So wow,
unbelievable.
Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate it. It has been the Pellegrini month, really.
I know, that's a little crazy. Sorry about that.
No, it's awesome.
Great.
Awesome. You've raised an amazing daughter. You haven't 2 other kids?
I have one more daughter and 2 sons, so
Okay,
there's 4 total.
4 kids.
Yep.
I'm sure they're all amazing, but
They're great kids. Yep.
Meg is exceptional, and it was, as Rick said in the beginning, it was really cool. I've seen her around at the events, and when we decided to have her on, I thought, well, she can't be as great as she seems, and then she was even better. So,
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
We're pretty proud of her. She's put the work in, so
yeah,
more to be done.
And she can
Yep.
fold towels, Molly.
Yes, I
Folds
know
towels
she can.
really, really well. So,
She's
for her.
willing to do whatever. So there we go.
that goes a long way. All right.
I
Big
Thank you, guys.
to Horse Trailer Pros. We, as always, truly appreciate them. They have been the title sponsor of the John and Rick Show for 7 seasons now, going on 7 seasons. They are absolutely incredible. Please make sure Molly and everybody go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. If you can go to your podcast player and give us a review, preferably 5 stars, but we'll take anything, to be honest. Give us a little review there. That really helps us out. Comment in the comment section. And we appreciate you, Molly. Thanks so much. And we will be back in 2 weeks' time with our next show. It's going to be an awesome one. Yes, Rick has something else for you. He always does this to me. I give a great
Sorry.
sign off, and then
I love my horse. We're gonna do it. Did we do it in the opener? What the question will be now?
No, we didn't do it.
I know we didn't do it.
We didn't
That's
do
bad.
it. We'll do it next time. It's fine.
All right.
We're good.
I tried, Molly.
We gave
I
the
tried.
award away. I Love
Sorry.
My Horse is awesome. We appreciate their support.
I'll give you a $25 gift certificate, Molly. That way.
Awesome. Thank you.
There you
We
go.
do use Horse Trailer Pros. We have used them quite often. So
They are
you know.
amazing.
They are amazing. Absolutely.
All right. So, are we good now?
Yeah, I think, and thanks. I'm going to follow up with Meg. See, I'm going to keep going about the EquiBrew that I gave her. So I'm going to.
Oh, good. Yes.
I'll follow up.
Perfect. Awesome.
Okay.
You
Anything
can
else, Rick?
close out, John. We know how you like to close out. It's so good.
I do a great job at it. I'm the best. So,
Yeah.
thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate it. We will be back in 2 weeks with another great show. So, thanks, Horse Trailer Pros. Thanks everybody for watching.
We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.